Alright, ladies and gents, this is what we're going to try to bring back to life. This big old broadhead axe that we found at an 1800s house site. It's one of the really old kinds where they actually have to weld the front of the blade on because you can replace the blades on these. I'm not too worried about that. The blade's broken. I just want to bring it back to life, maybe put a wood handle in it. It's actually got a couple nails shoved in the top here. Definitely after the 1880s because there's round nails, so they probably used this for quite a while. There's even a little maker's mark here on the front. It's been sitting for a while. I had it to try to preserve it in some like rust liquid stuff, but of course it's covered in pollen and all a bunch of junk too. So we're going to clean her up, put her in electrolysis, and then probably grind her down and bring her back to life. What do you say? Very, very unique axe. This is awesome. I just absolutely love this thing. So we're going to give it a try to bring this thing back to life. What do you say? Okay. As you can see in here, it is kind of forming the outline of the axe. You got the bubbles going down here and all the way up here, so we know the electrolysis is working. I have the negative cord. What I got is this green one hooked up to the negative terminal on the battery charger, and then the positives are actually hooked into these sacrificial pieces of metal. This is the sacrifice piece of steel. We have a positive lead, and I just got another one. Can't remember what gauge wire that is. It is, I don't know, 16 or something. 12 gauge. They don't get nice and hot or anything like that. We're just running 6 volts, 6 amps on it, so it's not draining a whole lot. So perfect. Sacrificial metal and the positive. Obviously I've been using these for quite a while. And then we got the negative lead on our good metal. So let it eat on that for quite a few hours, possibly overnight, and we should be right as rain. You can tell it's working when the bubbles are coming up. That's how you know. If you hook it up and you're only getting bubbles right there where your connector is and it's not going through the rest of the metal, you know you need to grind it down or something. I've made that mistake before. You got a rusty piece of metal and it just will not clean up. You have to get it down to the nice clean surface of the metal for the electricity to flow through all the metal while it's in the water there. A little bit of baking soda, a little bit of water, and a little bit of electricity. It does wonders. You just go to town. This is actually a Florida axe, as you can plainly see Florida right there. It was made in Florida. You can see hardware, I believe, really pitted. I have to work on it some more, but Florida is very good. So I should be able to figure it out just by how it looks and how it's from Florida. Very cool. I bought locally. Okay, enough of the BS. Was doing it over in the sun so I could get a better video, but it's Florida and Satan's bringing its heat down on us. So the camera overheated. I didn't know that. The Dremel overheated. My phone overheated, and then I overheated. Yeah, so it's another day. We're pulling out the big guns today. I didn't want to do this, but we're doing the grinder. I'm just going to be very careful with that logo. It's just super pitted. So, yeah. We got the death wheel out. We're going to grind. It's super pitted. I'm not trying to make this thing look gorgeous or anything. I want it to look old. I want it to look used and beat up and broken. But I just can't get those giant rust stains out. So I'm using the Dremel, using sandpaper, sanding it, wasn't working. So we're going to grind it, then we're going to sand it, and then we're going to use that little buffing thing, finishing tool, and get it looking better. I still want it to look old though, so that just took way too long. So death wheel's coming out. We're not going to do the logo. We're just going to do the big surface, come in with the little stuff later. Use the grinder for a little bit and get her done. What do you say? Let's get to it. Wasps, good lord. Good lord. I'm going to find out where they're living. We do have eye protection. I don't have a bench vise. I know I should, but I don't. And it's 120 degrees inside where my workbench is, so we're going to do it this way. I'm not having the grinder on it very long. I'm not professional. I don't claim to be. We're just doing this for fun, so that vice grip should be plenty. That I don't think that thing's going anywhere. It weighs 5-10 pounds as it is, so we're just going to try to scuff her on up and be done with it. So we'll just get her over with real quick. A little bit of protection. that certainly cleaned her up way better than I was expecting. All I gotta do is get like the Dremel to get all this stuff. I don't want to get that grinder too far down here, and we can sand the crap out of the blade later, but that's beauty. Got most all that big rust off. We just got a couple little pieces, and we got to get in all the low spots, but this thing is filled with high and low spots like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it was underground for 150 years. What do you expect? But yeah, that cleaned up even pretty good too right there. I took it over the logo, WCI I believe is what it says. I can't read anything on here but Florida, but that's all that matters. Florida, WCI I believe. I'll have to look that up. Sweet. Big difference, huh? That's after electrolysis. We're gonna zing this side off too with the death wheel, get them looking good, and then of course we're gonna have to go and be with the sandpaper and stuff on the edges and get down in here somehow. But looking pretty good. We're gonna have a functional, not really functional, but we could make that blade come back, but I'm not fixing that. Nope, I want this thing to look beat up to hell and just the way we got it. So low budget restoration. Well, not really restoration, but you know what we're doing here. And last but not least, I'm gonna hit it with this bad boy. Use this to finish her off, get any of the leftover rust that's in there out of there, before we do the treatment on this side. Get to it. Damn son up there. Get on in there. Gotcha. That's right. I am risking life and limb out here in this 95-degree heat. Let's get her done. Alright folks, we got it completely down to bare metal now, and what we're going to have to do here is we're going to clean all the gunk that's off of it. We're going to use our new super clean here. This is down to bare metal, so we're going to put some super clean on it, scrub up the surface, clean it all off nice and clean, make sure there's nothing on here, because we are down to bare metal. Now this is sat for 12 hours basically, and it's already starting to get some light rust, so we're absolutely going to want to clean this off real quick, and we're going to, before we do our rust treatment, because this thing will get so rusty so fast. I mean, it's completely down to the bare metal, so we're going to have to do that before we preserve it. So let's clean her up real quick, give her a little wire brush, get all anything that started to grow in the last 12 hours here rust wise. That's incredible. I kept it inside too. Yep, and then we'll protect it with the rust treatment. So our Broadhead axe is coming in, and I'm having some trouble figuring out exactly who made this. I've been looking up Broadhead axe companies in Florida. WCI, I think that's an I. It's hard to tell though, but the only thing I can read is Florida, and I'm just gonna have to keep searching axe companies. Now these were used in the 1890s up until like 1900-ish. It's hard to tell. Whenever power tools started coming into use, because they used to use these for boards, cutting boards for houses. So we found a couple axes like this at a house site. So back before power tools and before the machine era, when they used to cut boards by hand, they used these big old broad axes for the house. So we've got to try to figure out the age on it. Clean her up. Okay, let's give her a little spritz. Let me get the wire brush out. Get any of that gunk, rust that started on there, just sitting overnight. Absolutely incredible. Welcome to RHF's Redneck Paint Booth. Let's get to it. Oh yeah. We are using the Permatex rust treatment. No paint this time. I want it to look not painted. I want it to look like an axe, like a rusty old not rusty old axe, just a old axe that's not rusty, that looks how old it is. You know what I'm trying to say, everybody. I don't speak English too well. Let's get to it. Actually, I'm gonna get a glove. Put it inside my paint booth right there. Yep, why not? Let's ruin a brand new, never used Calico glove before. That makes sense. Ugh. Get on out of there. I was about to start holding it and spraying it like that. Not the brightest bulb sometimes. It's worked a lot better for the bayonet. I'm sure I can keep that little SOB right there. Some nice rust treatment on there. Get every little nook and cranny. We don't want anything rusted. Make sure you stay upwind from this. It's heading towards you all, so make sure you don't breathe any of this in. Get all up in there. Do the old flipperoo. Of course, I'm getting it all over the damn glove. Oh, I wish I had some better stuff. That's alright. Hey, I'm gonna leave the paint booth here and let her dry. And then we'll be protected from rust. If y'all want to watch paint dry, there you go. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It turned out great. It's an absolute beauty. I'm very, very pleased to be saving this BroadAxe. It was rotten about a foot in the ground in the foundation of an old house for about 150 years. We stopped really using these around the turn of the century, so it's got character. Got pitting, it's rough, it's awesome, and it's from Florida. You can't beat that. I still can't figure out the exact manufacturer, but we got a genuine Florida. Probably built a lot of Florida cracker houses too. That's from that time period. Very cool. One of the most unique axes I've ever found and that I've ever seen. Massive broadhead. I love it. I hope you all enjoyed. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up. Let me know your comments, criticisms, whatever you got. I can take it. Alright folks, thanks for watching.